Welcome to the Trucking Through Life podcast, where truckers Tom and Michelle discuss angels, spirit, and soul subjects in a down-to-earth manner while providing practical applications for the everyday person. Hello, everybody. This is Michelle.
And I'm Tom. We are coming to you live from New Jersey.
New Jersey.
The garbage state. Garden state.
What?
The garden state.
Well, New Jersey has a lot more trees in it than I thought it did. I thought it was really, really urban, but it really isn't as much as I thought it was. And we were just in Seattle a few days ago, so we did a complete ocean to ocean this week. So what do you think about that, huh?
Now we're going back to the ocean by Monday.
And we are, yes. Hi-ho, we're going back to the ocean again. L.A. again, I assume.
Yep.
That seems to be our favorite stomping ground, or at least our most frequent stomping ground, I should say. And then I think we're going to be heading to Long Beach. I guess we're going to catch us some of that cargo from all those cargo ships sitting off of the port there.
And we'll be sitting there for the next 45 days.
So anyway, here we are, almost ready to wrap up another season, and I decided I was going to do an energy health reading today, and then the final episode of each season, I like to do a spirit story. So our spirit story will be on the next podcast, and that'll be Bartholomew McSpadden. So if you want to hear about Bartholomew McSpadden and what his story is, he would love for you to tune in because he is all about attention. So anyway, today we're going to share a reading from a client of mine with permission from the client. I'm just going to read it. I did better this time. I made the print larger so that I wouldn't be going, I can't read this while we're driving, because it's a little hard to read while you're riding in the big truck because you bounce around a whole lot. So anyway, today our theme is the darkness, Tom. You know what? Tom has this really ghoulish laugh. Can you do that for us? No.
No.
Come on. Oh, come on.
I can't do it when you make me.
Oh, I have the great witch cackle. And he has the great ghoulish laugh. Come on, Tom.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know that.
I don't.
Anyway, the reason that I wanted to do this reading today was twofold. Part of it was, of course, we do have the Halloween season coming up. But the main part of it was, I think there's a lot of people out there who are getting these new sensations and feelings that are coming in. They're seeing things, they're hearing things, and they're scared. And they think that it's evil. And it may not be evil. Darkness is not what you think it is, okay? Darkness is simply the absence of light. And this reading delves into darkness because this is one particular aspect that this client seems to be, I guess, versed in, and she's going to be helping people understand darkness, from what I understand in this reading. So I'm going to read it out, and I'll stop it a couple times and explain a few things as I received them in, so it will help clarify a little bit more. So here we go. This following reading was received during meditation and is in the highest and greatest interest for my client and those connected to her. So we start. It's story time, Tom. You like story time.
It's story time.
It's story
Let me
time.
get my pillow and my jammies.
Yeah. Oh, after this, I get to get my pillow and jammies because I drove all night and it's time for me to go to beddy bye. So anyway, this particular reading, the masters speak first.
What kind of masters?
The masters, the spirit guide masters.
I thought the masters was a golf game, a golf tournament.
It is a golf tournament, but there's also higher evolved masters, and the masters speak first here.
Like Yoda.
Like Yoda, kind of. Exactly. good way to put it.
I screwed
Because
that one up. I thought I was making a wise ass comment.
no. Yoda is a master, and he's a spiritual master, and he talks a little bit different. And you'll see how the masters do talk a little bit differently than we do. So,
You mean like you? You
like
talk
me,
different.
I talk different. Yeah, sometimes I do
you
talk
talk
different.
different.
I talk about different things. That's for sure.
You talk about shit I don't understand.
Oh, well, let's get started and see how you do on this one, okay, dear? By the way, Tom does not know this, but he's helping me take the podcast to the next level soon because I'm getting ready to be able to do interview type guest speaker podcasts. So we're going to be adding a new element, and we might even be adding another element out after that. So be sure to subscribe, like us, share us, review us, okay? All right, so the masters speak. Here we go. Be it said that this one is of the impatient mind, meaning the client.
I'm your father.
No, Luke. There's no Luke, I'm your father in this, okay? So basically, the client that I'm reading for has an impatient mind, which I think that's probably most of us, isn't it? Okay, so they continue. That one such has great difficulty accepting the unfoldment process as it occurs quite subtly in her mind. One has expectations that limit her and her expansion. It would be of most benefit to this one to clear the cognitive, in parentheses, thought, into parentheses, patterns that are so, in parentheses, impatiently waiting, into parentheses, for change. So let me say that again. They're using probably her words. Usually when things are in parentheses, they're the client's words or thoughts and not the master's. So that sentence was one, or it would be of most benefit to this one to clear the cognitive thought patterns that are so impatiently waiting for change. For this expectation, and that's in parentheses, is in actuality limiting one's personal growth and expansion. Let us expand upon this concept further. Tom's thinking, good.
I'm gonna wait for this guy to answer me.
I know. We're also in contact with our broker here on text regarding this load. So that's what his duty is over there. Continuing with the masters. One has an expectation through her thoughts of what an evolution or expansion may look like or be. However, for this one, expansion and evolution is of the unconceivable matter, or an evolution of the type that this one has not experienced, either in physical plane or mental plane. Due to this circumstance, one envisions what expansion should look like in her mind, which alone is limiting her expansion. To avoid confusion, Tom's thoroughly confused now, one must abandon all preconceived ideas of expansion and evolution, for one's mind is unable to foresee the type of expansion she has yet to experience, as it is incomprehensible presently. One asks, how can I abandon my thoughts related to expansion? Well, this can be accomplished, I put in the word well. This can be accomplished through several means, one of which is that is referred to as tapping. Tapping, I'm going to interject, so we're going to stop right there for just a second. Tapping is a technique that can be used to change your thought patterns. So if you have thought patterns that are no longer serving you, or if you're wanting to change your thought pattern to one that serves you better, you can use this technique. You can Google it, tapping. I think it's called EFT. All capital letters, EFT, by Dawson Church. Dawson Church does a lot of the tapping. This is something you can do yourself. You don't even need to be any kind of experienced body worker, spirit worker, or practitioner to do this. The lay person can do this. It consists of tapping certain, like point areas, acupressure point areas is what I'm going to call them, but they're areas that activate a new way of thinking. So you can get rid of an old thought pattern and put in a new thought pattern. So the masters are suggesting that this person is actually limiting herself because she's envisioned something but she's trying to envision something she can't foresee. I'm going to compare this somewhat to the COVID situation. A lot of us knew something big was coming. We had been talking about it for a year. Something's coming. It's a big change. We don't know what it is. We can feel it in the energy. But when it got here, we're like, oh, that's it right there. So we couldn't foresee what was coming, but we knew that something was coming. So this person has been encouraged by the masters to use tapping, which is the EFT technique by Dawson Church. That's Dawson Church, Church. By the way, Dawson Church has an awesome free book available on the neurological system and thought patterns. And if you are a healthcare practitioner, you may want to send off for it. It is called, I think it's called Bliss Brain. I have it at home. It's very interesting take on the neurological system and our thought processes. So if you are of the healthcare mind or persuasion, you may want to order that book. So they have, I think we got the go ahead to go because we're going. The masters have given this client 3 phrases to use during tapping. So I'm going to read those phrases. Phrase number 1 is, I have no boundaries between myself and the universe. Phrase number 2, as I expand, I am one with the universe. And phrase,
turn right.
It's not, phrase number 3 is not turn right and turn right. That was our GPS.
Okay, that was funny.
Phrase number 3 is, I remain open to the universe guiding my expansion. So the masters go on. Verbalize such... You thought you were the master? I'm sorry to disappoint you, honey. You're just human like the rest of us. So the masters instruct this client to verbalize such phrases 3 times in a row for 3 times a day for 30 consecutive days. That's my 333 prescription that I talk about. And it's kind of funny. It's always, hold on. We're going to have to put this on pause. We have to take a call here. Hold on. It's a telemarketer. It's a telemarketer. I wanted to turn the mic on earlier so you could hear what Tom told them. And he said it was the county morgue. How can I help you? What's your 2 favorite sayings for telemarketers?
Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, that's one. Here's the other one.
County morgue.
Yeah, they hang up really quick. So anyway, that's my 333 spiritual prescription, the 3 times a day. And I find it interesting. It's actually also 3 phrases, 3 times in a row, 3 times a day for 30 consecutive days with the tapping, and that will change the thought pattern. By the way, if you're into numerology or angel numbers, you might want to look up that 333 because that's a strong angel number as well. So going on, the masters say, one has questions related to the darkness, for one does not understand. One must know that there are several levels of existence for all forms of energy, and some of which appear to us as dark. Be it known that darkness should not be confused with evil, for they are 2 separate manifestations. Darkness incarnations exist for those entities that are not yet ready to incarnate into physical form, yet they do incarnate on an energetic level. I'm going to pause right here because at this point, what I'm seeing is what some people refer to as shadow people or shadow figures. And a lot of people are afraid of shadow people or shadow figures. Children sometimes see them. So what they're saying is those are not evil manifestations. It's just another dimension of incarnation, of energetic incarnation, kind of like a trial before I have a physical form type of incarnation. So that is the sense that I got from this. So continuing on about this particular form of incarnation. It is that being of lower vibration than physical incarnation, meaning it's not as high a vibration as a physical incarnation is. For there are as infinite levels of energetic incarnations as there are of physical incarnation. That these other energetic incarnations can occur in various planes, dimensions of existence, including that physical plane that you presently occupy. For one must always ask one's self, is this a lower vibration energetic incarnation, or is this evil? In reference to, quote, the shadow people that a lot of children see or that people are afraid of. So you should ask yourself, is this just a lower vibration energetic incarnation, or is this evil? Dark forces and light forces both exist. However, one can simply call upon Archangel Michael and one's guardian angel to have them remove any dark forces from your path, and it shall be done. That easy. If you have a question about it, call upon Archangel Michael and your guardian angel, ask them to remove any dark forces from your path, and it's done. So then there you go. You don't have to worry about it one way or another. Continuing. We can also close one's eyes and visualize a bright glowing white flame and feel the love in one's heart energy center to discern if the darkness experience is simply lower vibration incarnation or evil. For evil will not tolerate the love that is generated from the heart energy. It's another power you have that you didn't know you had. Focusing on heart energy. Evil will not tolerate it. They will not be around it. It's just too hard. It's going to go for the easiest targets. And if you're wondering what it likes to focus on your heart energy, I equate it to the time I ride down Splash Mountain and I get this woo feeling inside. Or you can equate it to first love, the love feeling. That's same thing. In adrenaline rushes, same type of thing. Okay, it's that type of a feeling or a flittering feeling or just this magnetic feeling in your chest. So continuing on with the reading. It is part of one's calling to teach others how to discern between lower vibration incarnations, evil, and the darkness within oneself. So they've divided this out into 3 different categories of darkness. So there's lower vibration incarnations, there's evil, and then the third one is the darkness within one's self. So 3 aspects of darkness they're referring to. All of those energy forms result in fear and anxiety for many. Educating and teaching others the difference between these aspects of light absence is critical in this particular age. For many are becoming aware of such energies that their first instinct is to shut down and fear that which they are feeling. For many, open and free conversation related to what many refer to as darkness will assist them in their processing of such new experiences. It is at this point that one's own gift will shine. So this happens to be a particular area that this client can help people with. And I think we are seeing that a lot of people now are in fear. There's a lot of dichotomy out there. There's a lot of separation between people. And so this might help that to one aspect. This might be the learning part of that existence of that dichotomy. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, I'm just going to use a simple the vaccine is a polarized, highly polarized subject. You're either anti-vax or pro-vax, and there seems to be no middle, but there is a middle. So this will help people sort out the middle, is what it sounds like to me. Okay, continuing on with the reading. It is part of one's sole purpose to shine light upon the darkness by opening others' minds to a larger picture, a picture of non-judgment, acceptance, and love, for love always overcomes the darkness. One will, however, need to be strong in her conviction and commitment into the light and love. For some will remain to choose in a fear, or some will choose, not remain to choose, sorry. Some will choose to remain in a fearful place, while others will experience their aha moment. It is for you to lovingly guide those out of fear and anxiety, and for you to love and respect those who do not want to move away from fear and anxiety as well. One must remember, it is your natural gift to guide others away from the darkness, so little effort will need to be put forth when doing so. Educate others on forms of darkness from lower vibration, incarnations, to self-darkness, to evil, and teach them how to address each successfully. Of these, by far, the most challenging is not evil, but personal darkness, that darkness found within humans themselves. This will be the most common encounter for you, the human whose greatest darkness is found within themselves. So there we go. The greatest evil is that which is inside a person. Woo! There you go. I don't know if you guys heard it or not. He did his ghoulish laugh. We should audition for the Haunted Mansion. Okay. So now the reading switches more to her personal growth. Pardon me. I need to take a drink of my Coke Zero.
I'd like to have one.
You'd like to have a drink of my Coke Zero?
I'd like to have my own.
Oh, I'll get you one in a minute. It's my chemical addiction. Hi, my name's Michelle, and I'm a chemical addict. A chemical. What is it? I'm a chemical dependent. Hi, my name is Michelle, and I'm a chemical dependent on Coke Zero. I got to take a drink right quick.
Make sure you add the zero. I hate for people to think you're just addicted to Coke.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that, Tom. He said.
Because my mind goes in other places.
He says, make sure you add the zero so people don't think you're addicted to Coke. I'm like, oh my God. I didn't even think that way.
Why do you think you've been drug tested so much? They know you.
Yes, I'm a chemical dependent. I'm trying to break the habit. I'm cutting down,
You
but...
share that with me? Or you just gonna
Oh,
just
here
share
you
it?
go. There you go. You can have a drink. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Okay. So the next part of the reading, we had to lighten it up a little bit because sometimes these readings can be quite intense. But remember, it's whatever the client needs. Because if you're like a person who has a crazy sense of humor like Tom, his reading is not going to read like this.
My reading would be going, just give up.
So the masters even do have a sense of humor. I've seen that where they've even cracked jokes. But
Michelle won't even do a reading on me because she doesn't want to.
No, I've never done a reading for Tom. He's never asked for one, so I haven't done one. And the rule of thumb, people always have to ask for a reading. We cannot just go around.
I'm going to read.
Right,
you.
right. We can't just go around like barging into your energy without permission. That's a no. Okay, so back to the heavy reading, or back to the different reading. Okay, so now we're going into the personal growth for this person. Later in the reading also, some people come to talk to her, so we'll go into that as well. So as for your own personal growth, you will begin to experience higher level intuition, especially on the claircognizant level. That's hearing thoughts from guides and spirit masters. Tom, did you just do a Coke burp?
Nope.
Boys, we're lucky it was a burp. That's all. I'm lucky it was just a burp.
I don't fart. It's backfire.
Let's get back to the reading. Okay. All right. Continuing. You will be receiving guidance from your assisting masters through thoughts. These thoughts will feel different than your thoughts. One may almost feel that she is having a conversation in her head, Tom says I do that all the time, although I talk out loud.
Wait a minute. Let me explain this.
Okay.
Michelle's like, your hearing is bad. I've been talking to you. Okay, my hearing is fine. I tune her out because I don't know if she's talking to me, if she's talking to herself, or if she's talking to God who knows who.
A master, a spirit.
But she walks around talking to herself all the time, and I don't know who in the hell she's having a conversation with. So I tune it out. So my hearing is fine.
So, and I did not realize I did that. Apparently I communicate with the universe constantly, verbally. I just didn't realize that because my sister even pointed it out when we shared an office. She's like, who the hell are you talking to? I'm like, oh, myself. Sorry, I wasn't talking to you. And then I would say something to her and she's like, were you talking to me?
Exactly.
So I admit, I do communicate verbally with the universe nonstop. To me, it's all the same thing. If I'm talking to a tree, a person, myself, a cloud, it doesn't matter.
She talks to her
a ghost.
butterflies.
Well, I do talk to my butterflies and my flowers, and that's how come I have very successful monarch garden. You guys would not believe the swarm of butterflies that have come out of that garden. But anyway, back to this reading, all right? Conversation in her head. That's where we left off. Continuing. This is the time to practice daily meditation. Be it known that the length of time spent in daily meditation is not as crucial as it might seem. That more importantly, one needs to connect to the higher energy for continued transformation. A strong connection for a short period is more than appropriate for growth and transition. One must release the thought pattern associated with time in regards to meditation. One can release said thought patterns effectively through the use of tapping, of which this reader will provide further guidance. In other words, what I told you about Dawson Church and the tapping, I did give her instruction on that after the reading. And since I am formerly a healthcare provider, a lot of times the masters will ask me to give specific instructions on those type of things. So continuing, one must also consider the use of flower essences for support to the neurological system during this current expansion. Of such essences, those produced from, and in parentheses, I'm shown a map of the United Kingdom, would be most beneficial. So I told her that essences from the United Kingdom. I looked those up and I gave her that information as well. We're going to go into flower essences on a different episode. These are totally non-medical and strictly energetic forms of, I guess you would say, body balancing. I don't want to use really the word treatments because it's not really that. It's more returning body to homeostasis. I have a large amount of flower essences that I use, but as far as the healing, I'm actually able to just load in the essence without using the physical essence now. So I have a large energetic list of these essences, and if one of my clients needs them, I will load them in, and then I will tell them what that particular essence is for. So if you're interested in essences, a good place to start with a basic essence is the Bach flower essences and the Rescue Remedy. That's the best one to start with. That what they do to make the essences is they take the plant and they put it in the sun in a preservative. The preservative is either vinegar or brandy, usually. And then they set it with certain stones and energetic patterns around it, and it absorbs and releases. It doesn't absorb. The energy of the plant releases into the preservative material, whether that's the brandy or the vinegar, and then you can use that to help balance your body. I'm going to have to do a whole episode on that because that's very confusing. But if it's something that sparks your interest, the Bach flower essences, I've actually made flower essences in the past. They're not hard to make, but I'm the kind of person that likes to go tromp out in the woods and forage for food. So I'm a lot happier going out in the woods and digging up food than I am sometimes having a hamburger.
But you know what? She taught me that. So I went out the other day and I came back with potatoes, asparagus, and steak, all from the same spot.
Yeah, called the grocery store. He foraged at the grocery store. No, I like the foraging and the woods walking. It really helps center me. So we're gonna go on. This person also has had a big question. Actually, she did not give me any information for this reading. She had no questions. She just requested a reading and gave me her legal name. All of this information came from that. So obviously she's been wondering when she's going to meet Mr. Right, that relationship. Because it says right here, this is a little bit of the sense of humor. The guides or the masters say, so one wants to know when she will meet her man. So see, they do have a little bit of a sense of humor. And the word man is in parentheses. So she must call it her man all the time. I'm looking for a man, my man, a good man, whatever. I don't know. But that must be a word she uses a lot because every parentheses word is usually a word that my client verbalizes or thinks about a lot. That's the part of these readings that kind of like freaks people out. They're like, how did you know that I use that word all the time? I didn't know, but the masters know. So continuing the reading. That shall occur in fall of 2023. This person will be a great kinship for one. This meeting will occur to be as a fluke, but it is quite intentional. This person will have grown children and be seeking another who is evolving. This person is currently grieving, but not in the traditional sense, and will not be ready to seek companionship until said time. After that, I see a picture, so I put that in the parentheses because I see a man walking a horse by the reins related to this. Now another guide comes forward, and I can tell it's another guide because it feels different energetically, and they're all positioned around me in different locations. So if you take a clock face and you look at it, some guides are always to my right and some are always to my left. And the same with spirits of people who have passed on or spirits of people who are yet to incarnate. They're in a particular position, and that's how I know their energy feels different, and that's how I can identify it. So just like you can identify 3 o'clock, the hands are here, I can identify 3 o'clock is this guide, 9 o'clock is that guide. I find that kind of interesting. 3 and 9. We're back to the threes again. Okay. So another guide comes forward. And I'll just call this the vocational guide. This guide begins. You are in much turmoil in your current work situation. But know that you have several options and that one can continue one's sole purpose regardless of where one is employed. A positive job change will occur in July of 2022 unless one decides to pursue other opportunities. The current work environment feels heavy to oneself. It is recommended that one place igneous communication stones in one's working environment to reduce unnecessary communications that are categorized as, quote, clutter versus, quote, necessary. For placement of such stones can not only shift surrounding energies, but also provide a, quote, conversation piece. In regard to one's health, fluid dynamics are not balanced and the body is holding additional interstitial fluid. I'll explain that. In other words, she's bloated. In common terms. And interstitial would be the fluid that's between cells, not within cells. And then I see a picture. So I see an image of a woman with water bubbles filling her body and moving from her feet to her head, raising like soapy water would do. Okay. So the master continues, this imbalance not to result in major disease, but more in one's discomfort. Sodium sensitivity is noted, and such discomfort can be reduced with the minimization of sodium intake. Okay, let's just put that into common everyday words. You're bloated, you're sensitive to salt, so don't eat salt. That's what all that means for this particular person. This master then goes on to psychological or mental body. Psychologically speaking, one feels, quote, trapped. Yet know that this feeling is most likely a result of energy changes occurring on the earth plane at this time. Again, it is recommended that one practices that known as tapping to release old patterns, for one is not really, quote, trapped, but more likely holding on to old thoughts and emotions that are, quote, weighing one down, resulting in a trapped feeling. For there are actually thoughts and emotions remaining trapped, and upon clearing such thoughts and emotions, one will feel forward progress. So I take all of this stuff in through automatic writing, and I write it all down. And my hand was tired, and I was told that's enough for this connection. We'll connect again tomorrow. So the next day, I went into meditation again, and we continued. So the masters continued the next day. This one has a significant past life of what one may refer to as slavery. Slavery not related to one's race, but more to one's social position. For as a woman, she was viewed in this life as a piece of property to a man, a soul who is also incarnate this life as one's oldest son. So her oldest son and her were incarnate at a different time and had a different relationship at that time. In this previous life, one was subservient to this man and at that time internalized a low sense of worth. This sense remains with one today and must be removed for one to advance to where one is seeking in this lifetime. The affirmation, I am worthy, I am loved, I am revered. There we go, 3 phrases. Should be repeated. You got it. It's the 333 spiritual script. Repeated 3 times in a row, 3 times a day for 30 days. It's the 333. I see that so many places. Maybe we'll do another show on the significance of that 333. Maybe I'll Google it and see. I know it is an angel number for one, but 3 is also mathematically important. 3, 6, and 9. We'll do a show on that. One must truly love themselves inside before one can attract a true loving relationship. For if one cannot deeply love themselves, one cannot deeply receive or love another. So at this point, a man steps forward. This is what I see. He steps forward immediately after the master completes his phrase. He's wearing long pants, like a work or uniform pants, tan in color, and a button-up short sleeve matching shirt. There's a white patch with a red outline and lettering in the upper left-hand corner of the shirt. He has, I thought it was a cigarette in his right hand, but as I think back, I just saw smoke coming from his hand. So I didn't look close enough to see the source of that smoke, but there was smoke coming from his right hand. His face is weathered, square shape. Okay. Dingy. Hang on. Hold on. Gotta pause. We must have something from our broker here. Hold on. That wasn't a pause. A 333.
On the clock, this is a great reminder that abundance comes directly from God, and we must seek His guidance.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's.
There we go. The 333.
It is an angel number.
And it is an angel number, and I knew it had some 3s. There's also the Holy Trinity. If you are Christian, the Father, Son, Holy Ghost is the Holy Trinity. If you are into Atlantis, there's the Tritons.
I just thought you said
the triads, and there's a lot of healing triads, so I knew 3 was pretty significant. Well, thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
I knew I had significant.
So there's your 3s. Let's see. I was describing this man that came forward. His face is weathered square shape. He has dingy gray coarse hair. He speaks to me and tells me you need to know your worth. He says, this is what he said that I needed to relay. I was not nice to you, but that was our agreement, that you chose to overcome low self-worth in this lifetime. My behavior left me with some scars, of which I am working on now. I did not know that my role would damage myself so emotionally. I am fixing that here. And he says this so fast, I can't discern if he said, how is Tommy or how is Danny? But it's Danny. So he says, how is Danny? I think of him often. I worry that he was the most damaged. I am in the light. I know it's hard to believe. I'm repairing damage from this last incarnation. I am truly a loving soul who had a difficult role. Call me Josiah. That is who I really am, not the person you knew. I send love and light to you always, but fear the past impact I had on your life may prevent you from receiving my gift. I do apologize and don't want to say I'm sorry, for that was an empty phrase when I was incarnate. You must know your true worth and don't feel guilty honoring your value. We had good times, we had lots of bad times, but you do not need to carry the burden of our experience within yourself. Free yourself, do not be bitter, for it only holds you back. Rejoice in your past, for it made you who you are today, a strong, independent woman who is capable of many things. Never let anyone devalue you again, for it is your time to shine. Shine on, silver moon. Complete this lesson by gaining self-worth and true internal confidence. Then the master begins speaking again, and I gotta turn the air conditioner away from me. You are freezing my tush off over here. My goodness. Okay. So the master begins again. One must know that you can complete... Oh, I left out a word. One must know that one can complete life's lesson and simply advance to the next lesson without partaking in the life-death cycle for every lesson. So in other words, you can complete what your purpose was that you came here for, and it's kind of like advance right past Go in Monopoly. You can just go right on to the next one. You don't have to die and be reborn every time and incarnate every time for every lesson. You can do several lessons in one lifetime because your lessons are soul lessons. So there's a bit of that soul lesson in every lifetime you live. So if you resolve it in one lifetime, it's resolved in all of them. So it makes sense that you can go on to the next soul lesson in the same lifetime because everything occurs at the same time. They're all occurring at the same time. We just are only consciously aware of certain aspects. For example, being aware of a human existence, we're limited by our human brain that we can only see this human existence. But there's several existences out there for our soul, and they're all at the same time. So this is where, continuing with the reading, this is where you are at the present time, ready to complete one life lesson and begin another. One's next life lesson, allowing one's self to play, create, and gain independence. So the man speaking earlier stepped back, but is not far away. It's kind of like he's got a vested interest in this. He's hanging over there to the side listening. The master says, it shall be in fall of 2023 that one will meet a significant other that will foster a healthy, supportive relationship. Until then, the more you truly love yourself, the stronger that relationship will be when the time comes. So now this man that was speaking earlier with the coarse gray hair, he steps forward again to speak. And this is him speaking. I want you to know that I know the pain I caused you. That is one of the most challenging repairs I must make myself. for I did damage myself as well during this process, but I am able to use the light here to repair the damage. And then he fades away. So the way that I understand it is that he knew what the role was, and it was a very hard emotional role, and obviously he played his role well, but in doing so, he damaged himself as well emotionally. So he has to kind of repair that before his soul can move forward onto its next lesson. So next, a young girl steps forward, and she has 2 long braids, blonde hair, white tights, black patent leather shoes, a pink dress with a large yellow polka dots on it. She goes, "Hiya, sis. I want you to know I miss you, and I'm going to be there to guide you to have more fun. So, let's go get into trouble." And she skips off. The masters speak again. "For now is the time to rejuvenate, not take life so seriously. By this it is suggested that one gravitate toward and remain in the lighter, higher frequencies. The more time spent in the higher frequencies, the better relationships and situations you will attract. Do not be afraid to express your true self, for the time has come. One may benefit from the use of flower essences at this time in your evolution." That is all. All of my readings are completed with the phrase, "that is all." That's how I know I'm at the end. And so I put the reference materials for her at the end that they told me to relay to her. One is one that I've already said is the YouTube video on tapping by Dawson Church. I also sent her the link to the Findhorn. I don't know if they say Findhorn. I think it's Findhorn because it's in the UK. And I don't think the UK would be saying find. I think they'd be saying find, but the Findhorn flower essences. So I sent her those flower essences. They're handmade in Scotland, apparently. And I recommended these stones for her for work. One was septarian, one was obsidian, and the other one came to me was Veracite, although I'm not sure that that one was igneous. It was still one that I was told to recommend for her. And as always, I let all of my clients know that I'm available for consult or assist in any manner that they may need, and feel free to contact me or text me with any questions or clarifications. So there we go. Energy health reading on the darkness. That was pretty heavy, wasn't it, Tom?
I'm driving.
He's driving now. He's like, okay, I'm now driving. So we heard from the broker. I got the information I needed. La, la, la. So anyway, please keep listening. We appreciate each and every one of you. Our listenership took a humongous surge this week. I'm so excited. And I want to be sure that you know how to share these episodes. If you listened to this particular episode today, there may have probably been an aspect in there that you needed to hear that appealed to you. That's how readings are. I have a little bit of a funny story about a reading. I was talking to a friend of mine, and my phone attached one random paragraph from a reading from someone. It copied and pasted and sent just this paragraph, because I don't put any identifying information, and it sent it to my friend, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I needed that so bad right now," and so did the client I was working on. She's a body worker. So I'm like, well, thanks. I didn't really do it, but I'm glad I could help. None of this comes from me. This all comes from the higher source, the universe, the masters, the guides, the angels, blah, 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 whatever you want to call them. God, your deity, whoever you...
Your deity, that's for the
your
British.
Deity? Yeah, that's the British. It's our day of tea today. No, deity. But anyway, if you don't know how to share our episodes, there's either this little sideways V bracket with dots that you can copy the link, and then you just text it, paste it and text it to someone, or there's a square with an arrow. You can do the same thing, text the episode. Let's keep texting and emailing these episodes to friends, family, relatives, anyone you feel that may benefit from a reading in particular, and encourage them to listen to the Trucking Through Life podcast. We love each and every one of you. We are hearing from you. Oh my goodness. Hearing a lot from everyone. When I was on my 2-week break, I couldn't believe how many messages I had in my messenger when I got back.
2.
No, more like 200. It was a lot, Tom. It was a lot. And these are all people who are inquiring about readings. They're getting their ducks in a row. Usually people don't go for a reading instantly. They usually have to think about it a little bit first. And then they're like, yeah, okay. But got a lot of exciting things in store for the Trucking Through Life podcast. So thank you very much. You can find us on our website, truckingthroughlifes.com. If you don't listen on a mobile device, all of our episodes are there. You can also find a link now, Tom. They put a podcast link on Facebook. So on my reading page, Enlightened Universal Messages, go on there and like that. You can get a link to all our podcasts on my reading page there. If you have any questions about readings, you can get the answer there under the different tabs. And last but not least, you can contact me through email, Mariah's Message, MORIAHSMESSAGE @gmail.com. So, thank you for tuning in today, and next week's going to be fun. It's going to be Bart McSpadden. Then we're going to have a lot of laughs with Bart. I have never, and that's one thing I learned from my mama. My mama said, never say never. And it's so true. Before Bart, I had not run across a ghost that liked to do Snapchat filters. That's all I'm going to say. And we'll leave that for next week. And until next week, don't forget, never drive faster than your guardian angel can fly. Bye-bye.